Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? Welcome to the show. I will be attending the RapsCon and Raps VIP in Long Beach on August 2nd to the 4th. I'll also be doing podcast interviews, so if you're interested in getting in an interview with me, please contact me via email at allwrappeduppodcast.com. Head over there for more information to set up time and date. This episode of the podcast is brought to you by the 3rd Annual Raps VIP on August 3rd at 8 p.m. in Long Beach, California, right after RapsCon. This event is hosted by the IBOW, IR, and Rapper Mapper with sponsors like Orfold, 3M, Avery Dennison, along with tons of additional sponsors, networks, tools, and shops. Raps VIP is a totally free event by the rap industry for the rap industry. Everyone is welcome and all aspects of the industry are respected and supported. They'll also be having a classic car show with wrapped cars from the 50s and 60s. And what's an event without a little bit of competition? So they'll also be doing a die-cast car wrapping competition. There'll also be a live broadcast with yours truly from the Raps VIP event and some sit-down talks with some industry leaders. For more information, check out rapsvipevent.com. They'll also be posting some information and some updated stuff on their social media account. So head over to rapsvipevent.com to get any more additional information about the event. Now here's a brand new episode of All Wrapped Up.
I would go up there every day after school, and I would go into that shop, and I'd be like, hey, do you guys have a job? Nope, don't have a job. I filled the application, and I'd come back 3 weeks later. Hey, do you have a job? Do you guys have an opening? Nope. I would go back so often that the owner, Mary Lou, she knew my name. When I opened the door, I'd walk in, she'd just look at me, and she'd go, Chris, we don't have anything today. And I went on for like 6 months, 8 months, and I was just, even though she told me no, I just kept going back. I wanted to work there at that shop. I wanted to be in the industry. I wanted to be, in some sort of design area. And finally, I walked in one day and I opened the door. She just smiled at me. She said, Chris, guess what? I was like, what? We got availability for you.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to All Wrapped Up Podcast. We'll be interviewing industry-leading rap companies to share tips, tricks, stories, and more. So we'll go live now. We got Chris Bull from Wrapabull. What's going on, brother?
Hey, man, what's going on?
Nothing much. How's your day been?
Fantastic. You know how it goes.
Fantastic.
Fantastic. Just so everybody knows listening that this is the third time that we've done this intro because my customers keep coming back knocking on the windows. So we're going to make this happen this time. So let's do it.
Oh, the joys of being the first one in and then the last one out. You know what I mean?
That's how it goes.
That's so funny, man. That's so funny. Well, talking about the projects and people picking stuff up, what do you have going on for this week?
Okay, so last week I finished up with a really cool project. It was a Type R. It's a 2017 Civic Type R. It was red, went Avery satin black with it. Pretty challenging. This week, just had a gentleman pick up his 2015 Panamera 4, where we did some red reflective calipers as well as a roof wrap. I've got a 1990 Mastercraft ski boat in for a full design print. And as well, and I've also got a Porsche Cayenne getting dropped off tomorrow for a 3M black cherry full color change, as well as I've got an LC 500 in the back here for Gold Rush Rally.
Wow, busy.
Yeah, that's this week. That's just this week.
Damn, that's insane. Going back on the Civic Type R, how difficult was the install? Just the install alone. I know we all know going from red to another corresponding color is a suck for an install. But as far as like installing it, how bad was it?
It's pretty rough. I mean, the wing itself, the rear wing is pretty much a bitch because you've got to you've got to disassemble the whole back end of that car to get the wing off. First off. The wing doesn't really come apart. The horizontal piece in the middle comes apart, but the two sides, they're plastic welded together. I mean, you can see some screws in there, but they're too deep to get a screwdriver to, so you kind of have to wrap the whole thing as one unit, you know. So I had to piece that a couple of times, which, you know, I kind of hit some seams with some carbon fiber and accents and stuff. So it worked out.
Break it up, yeah.
You know, the car's got a lot of chops and bumps and little angles and pieces, parts here and there. So it's kind of I will say it's probably, I've been doing this a really long time, and that's probably one of the more complicated cars that has challenged me since I've started this.
Yeah, they don't make the cars kind of easy for the wrappers anymore, unfortunately, with all these crazy contours and, you know, crazy 90 degrees and the bumpers. It's just, it's tough, but, you know, seaming them properly, I mean, it's definitely going to be key as far as getting it done, you know, quickly and efficiently. And durability wise, it's probably the best route instead of, you know, being a cowboy and pushing it in, you know?
Yeah, I mean, there's people out there that are doing bumpers and stuff in one piece, and yeah, it's great. It's really cool, and you can cowboy it and be the hero and all that kind of good stuff. But I would rather be a little more conservative with it. You know, hide your seams in there, put them in some good places. You can hide them really well, and it's not really that big of a deal. You know, and they're really unnoticeable to somebody who is not like you or myself, who just walks around at a car show and says, "Oh, look, there's a seam." You know, most people aren't going to say that. They're not going to see that. So I educate my customers before I do anything, and I let them know, hey guys, we're going to put a seam here. We're going to put a seam right here. We're going to do this because, you know, X, Y, and Z.
Right.
And let them know that it's for durability, longevity, all that kind of good stuff. And typically they're cool with it.
Right.
You know, they don't ask any questions. They're like, "Oh, okay, cool. Gotcha." So they're not caught off guard when they pick the car up.
It's reinsurance that the vinyl isn't going to fail too. And at the end of the day, you couldn't have picked a better color with the matte black. I mean, matte black, you know, with the seams, they seem the best. You don't really see them.
Yeah, this was actually a satin black.
Oh,
and,
satin.
I love a satin black. And whenever somebody comes in and they said they want a matte black car, I'm like, no. You want sexy black. I mean, satin black. Yeah. So we've dubbed it at the shop sexy black.
That's awesome.
So it's pretty cool. I mean, I typically talk everybody out of a matte black car. I always push them towards the satin black because it doesn't show scratches as much, and I just think it's a little easier to maintain for a person who's not going to be really maintaining it. You know, most people don't maintain their wraps. So.
Oh yeah, I mean they get the bird poop on them and don't wipe them off. Yeah. Good luck wiping that off an hour later on a satin or matte black. It's just gonna stain it instantly.
Oh yeah.
That's insane. You had said you had a boat coming in or was in already. How many boats do you wrap?
Dude, I wrap. I bet you I wrap as many boats as I wrap as many cars.
Really?
Oh yeah. My shop is probably a mile from the largest lake in South Carolina.
Really?
So the road that the main road that I'm on, every road that comes off of it runs either to a marina or to a boat landing. So I'm in the heart of boat country. So we do pontoon boats, we do ski boats, we do, you know, big fountain and formula boats, all that kind of stuff. Like I've got, in 2 weeks on the schedule, next week on the schedule, I've got a 34-foot fountain boat, that'll be here. And then the week after that, I've got a 32-foot fountain boat. So I do a lot of the large power boats as well. So bass boats, we're in the heart of bass boat country. So we, this year, at the beginning of the year, I got hammered and did, I had 5 FLW professional bassmasters or professional fisherman dudes boats in here. And then I had 1 Bassmaster, which is, that's kind of like the big nuts of it's kind of the NASCAR of the bass world, I guess you call it. So I did his boat, his truck, and then we did 5 other boats for FLW guys.
That's insane.
So, and then that's not even counting like pontoons and pontoon boats. I mean, they're so easy to do, and they're just quick money. I mean, I could probably do 2 pontoon boats in a day. We charge $1,500 for a pontoon boat. Just color change, just flat panels, hammer them out. And when I say we, that means me, because it's just me here. So
it's just you there. Yeah, we'll get into those details here in a little bit. So how much square feet is the pontoon boats as far as like printing wise? Are they fairly well? They're all different sizes, but how often?
Yeah, they're all different sizes, but like you've got say a 21 or 22 foot pontoon boat. They're only the rails are only 18 to 22 inches tall.
Wow.
So in a 60-inch roll of film, you can get 3 panels up on the film. So
Easy.
I mean, you're only using 8 to 9 yards of film, maybe.
Yeah, on a color change.
Yeah.
Do you do any extra steps for the boats, like using primer or anything like that? Especially with it being in the fresh water or whatnot.
Yeah, I mean the boats that we do go fresh or salt water. So, they do. So I typically will use some Pro Bond or primer on the very bottom edge of the boat, just because I like to get that special solid seal right there.
Mm-hmm.
And then we come back with the edge seal tape and hit that on the edges as well, just to double it up.
Wow.
Sometimes these guys some of these boats are going really freaking fast. I was listening to one of your guys the other day, one of your other podcasters, a gentleman, can't remember who it was, said that they do a lot of the large power boats as well, and they're doing 80 to 100 miles an hour on the water.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to protect it from that. So
right.
Same thing. These little bass boats, they make a 250 horsepower motor on a nothing boat. I mean, they're just screaming across the water. So, you got to protect it.
Right. Yeah. And you gotta, have the durability. And how often do you get something coming back?
You're going to jinx me here, but I'm going to knock on wood. I typically don't have many things come back. I mean, I had a boat come back last season. It was a bass boat, and he told me that I installed it improperly. But you could easily tell that he had hit a log or a stump, because a lot of these places that they're fishing on the bass boats, they're pretty shallow.
Right.
So you could tell that he had run across something, and it had just damaged the raft, and he just kept fishing and kept using the boat, and it just compounded it. So, and I didn't get in a pissing contest with him. I just said, okay, no big deal, just bring it in, we'll fix it. So I printed a 4-foot piece and patched it up and seamed it, and never knew it was there.
Put him on his way. Yeah, I love that. I always tell everybody, don't go through a freaking car wash. Just hand wash it yourself. Just do yourself the favor, and like 2 months, 3 months later go by. Oh, I got some peeling coming up. Did you go through a car wash? No. Bullshit. You didn't go through a car wash.
You can see the brush marks on the outside of the car.
Yeah. It's like, dude, I can see right through you. Like, stop. Like, just tell me, I'll fix it. Just tell me the truth. You know what I mean? It comes down to dollars and cents at the end of the day, and they don't want to, out themselves, which sucks sometimes. But I mean, I got to the point where I made these little cards, which was kind of a good thing. I made these little cards. They were almost like door knockers, and I would sit them on the rear view mirror. In the inside.
Yep.
And it would just, one side said how to keep it clean. The other side said, what not to do.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep,
so they
awesome.
walked away with it, stuck it in the glove box, and call it a day, But that was always fun, having those conversations after the fact,
I always get the warranty question, what's the warranty on this? And, we're in the South and we're a little bit more lenient or whatever. I mean, at least I am. I'm a pretty easygoing person.
Yeah.
And I tell the customer, I'm like, listen, if it's my fault, I'm going to fix it.
Right.
That's plain and simple. If it's my fault, I'll fix it. And they're like, well, how long does that go for? I'm like, well, we'll see. If it's, I usually tell everybody that I'll warranty my install for a year.
Yeah.
So if anything happens within a year, bring it back, I'll hook it up, whatnot. But, if it's something that I know that when I did it, I know I overstretched or I know I pushed that vinyl too far, and it comes back, it's like, don't worry about it. I got you. I'll fix it.
Right.
So and it makes the customer feel a little better,
Oh yeah. And everybody knows if anything's going to happen, it's going to happen within the first couple of days of them having it. Anything after that, really nothing should really show up. And if it was improperly installed or overstretched or whatnot, within a couple of days.
Yeah, you'll see it pretty quickly.
Yeah. Let's hop in into how you got into the industry. you know, we had talked a little bit off air. You told me you had a serious story. Now's your chance.
All right. So it's pretty cool. I mean, I'm definitely a lifer. You know, I've been in this for a really long time. Let's see, I'll be 44 this year.
44,
and,
young.
Yeah, man. So, I started working at Fast Signs when I was about 17 years old.
Wow.
I would go up there every day after school, and I would go into that shop, and I'd be like, hey, do you guys have a job? Nope, don't have a job. I filled the application, and I'd come back 3 weeks later. Hey, do you have a job? Do you guys have an opening? Nope. I would go back so often that the owner, Mary Lou, she knew my name. When I opened the door, I'd walk in, she'd just look at me, and she'd go, Chris, we don't have anything today. And that went on for like 6 months, 8 months. And I was just, even though she told me no, I just kept going back. I wanted to work there at that shop. I wanted to be in the industry. I wanted to be, you know, in some sort of design area.
Mm-hmm.
And finally I walked in one day and I opened the door. She just smiled at me. She said, Chris, guess what? I was like, what? We got availability for you. And I was like, hell yeah. I said, hell yeah. I said, sweet. Yeah, but, so I started working production back then. Working on the tables at Fast Signs, learning it, and then just kind of started learning all the software and everything. That's back then is when, you know, everybody used the Gerber software Composer.
Mm-hmm.
They had the HS15 plotters, you know, all that kind of good stuff, old school stuff. And I taught everything myself, and then I moved up from production. I moved into the design position, and then after doing that for a couple of years, I actually took over the general management role of the whole shop. And dealt with all the ordering, and, you know, I kind of ran the shop.
Wow.
And then after that I left, went to college here at University of South Carolina for graphic design.
Mm-hmm.
And after, when I was in college up here, I actually worked for the Fast Sign up here, as well as a Sign It Quick up here. And then got a advertising internship at Walt Disney World.
Really?
So I worked worked at in the advertising department at Disney World for a year back in '96. That was 96.
Wow.
Moved back to Charleston and went back to work for the Fast Line store that I grew up in, and went back to the general management role. I was there for a few years, and we did. You know, this was before people really had their own printers or anything. You know, so all of our printing was outsourced to a large format printing company up here in Columbia. And we were ordering a lot of wrap stuff because I was wrapping a lot of cars and stuff, you know, for the time.
Right.
And the guy was like, hey, you know, do you want to come up here on the weekends and wrap a few cars for us? And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll make some money. And so I did that for a little bit of time, and, you know, did those things weekends and the work week. And they offered me a full-time job to run their graphic, to run their design and vehicle wrap department. And so I did that, and did that for about 3 years. And then one of my customers there, it was a barbecue company, and I wrapped a couple of cars for him. And he's like, man, is there any money in this wrap stuff? And I'm like, yeah. I was like, yeah, if you do it right, you can make money.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, you want to start a business? I was like, hell yeah, I want to start a business. He's like, I'll buy the printers. I'll rent the space. I'll do everything. All you got to do, I'll be your money guy. All you got to do is design it, wrap it, and I'll sell it. I'm like, sweet, let's do it. So we bought 2 Roland printers and a Royal Sovereign laminator, and we started going to town. We call it $9.95 wraps. What the gimmick was we'd wrap any car for $995 up to the first 100 square feet. After the first 100 square feet, it went to $8 a square foot. And so you got your full price. You know, you weren't like
genius.
You know, you had that hook. You had that hook.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, we ended up having 2 Roland, 650s or 540 XS, 2 540 XS, SX or something. We had 2 AJ 1000s. We were printing large format banners for people all over the country. It was awesome. Did that for a full year. I came into work one day and the guy's like, you know, we're not really making any money, so I'm going to close this thing up.
What?
I'm like, what? I was like, no. I was like, if you don't want to do this anymore, just you walk away or you just be quiet. I'll keep going. I'll pay the bills. You get money for doing nothing. He's like, no, I'm done. I'm done. We're just close up. I was like, shit. So, about a week later, I drove.
Were you not involved as far as like legal stuff? You were just the worker.
I was the one. Yeah, I was just there.
Oh.
So I went back, and we had, at that point, we had 7 employees, all this kind of stuff, and everybody knew that I was like secondhand dude. I was like the guy if Jeff wasn't around.
Right.
And so I went back a week later, just kind of drove by, and I saw all these cars there. And so I rolled up in there. I'm like, what's going on? And everybody just looked at me. And basically what he did was he told me that they were closing the business because he didn't want to just tell me to my face, I'm letting you go because I don't need you anymore. I've got these guys I can pay less and still do the work. So he just completely effed me. And just a little side note, that gentleman is still in business, not in South Carolina, but another state that might be close, north or south. So just a heads up.
Still,
anywho,
how old were you then?
Yeah, I just got divorced. I was probably early 30s.
Wow.
Mid 30s, maybe.
Okay.
So after that, I got a job for it was actually the largest commercial screen printing facility on the East Coast. We had screen printers that were 5-color machines that were 10 foot by 10 foot screens. They were 350 feet long. You had a gangway to walk across, pour the ink into them to refill it. It was cool. We did all the stuff for Craftsman, DeWalt, Honda, all these OEM decals and stuff. It was pretty cool.
Wow.
So I was there for a while, and they ended up closing down. They shut down. They got bought out and shut down. I went back to Fast Signs here locally, and so after that, I was there for 2 years, 3 years, and I went and I was general manager of that shop as well. And I went to the owner one day and said, hey, I've been here for 3 years, haven't gotten a raise. What can we do? He's like, oh, you're tapped out. You're where you're going to be. You're not going to make any more money here.
Wow.
And I was like, wow. Well, thanks for your honesty. I appreciate that.
Good to know 3 years later.
Yeah, good to know. Sorry to make a long story long, but this is my story. And so at that point, I know I'd heard that you had said that you had gotten out of the industry for a little while. And at that point was having all this kind of up and down stuff. I was like, man, I'm out of here. I got to get something different.
Yeah.
So I was actually a marketing director for a home security company. I did all their design work. I did all their promotions. I did all their stuff. I did that for 2 years, and I was like, man, I am not a desktop guy. I can't. I'm getting stir crazy. So I started wrapping cars on the side, and just on the weekends and evenings, I'd have people bring their cars. I'd do color changes at my house or whatnot. And then my buddy Austin Smith from 201, he's been pushing me. Austin and I have been friends since we were about 19 years old.
Really?
Yeah. So we grew up together in the car club days. So he had always pushed me for years he's like, dude, you need to start your own business. You need to do it. You need to do it. You need to do it. And I was like, nah, I don't want to do it. I'm too scared. So he's like, well, just come to RapsCon. It was the first year of RapsCon, and I had just joined Pain is Dead. And so I was at RapsCon, and we're talking and everything, and I was talking to my wife on the phone while I was, from there, and she's like, listen, if you don't come home with a printer and a laminator, I'm going to slap you. So while I was at RapsCon, the first RapsCon there in Indy, I bought a printer, bought a laminator, had it shipped back home, started printing, started doing more, and quit my job at the marketing place and started Wrapabull. And we've been here for 3 years, and things could not have been better. Should have listened to Austin 15 years ago.
Sooner, yeah.
But I'll tell you, it's a long journey, but it's an awesome journey. And the stuff that I learned along the way, failures.
It becomes valuable
everything.
to you. Yeah. Yeah.
Very
absolutely.
valuable. So, I mean, the stuff, the guys that are starting overnight, like in a garage here, or, where you are, I mean, it's great that they're doing that and they're learning, but, I'm old school, and I feel you got to have those tribulations and those trials and the failures to make you stronger, make you better. Yeah. I would not be here. And the cool thing is you've got to have family, and you've got to have your family and your people supporting you. I've got an awesome wife, I've got an awesome family, and friends. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my friends in Pain is Dead, Austin. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Charlotte, my wife. So, you've got to have this family and people behind you.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, those long hours, long days, extra hours on the weekends, whatever the case may be. It's tough. It's tough to have your family life as well as your work life. It consumes you, and if you're the only provider as well, it's a big thing on your shoulders.
Yeah, it is. And, I've had many conversations with, a lot of the bigger people in the industry. I'm not going to tell who it was. I don't need to get into that, but, 4 or 5 people in the industry or more, because, I don't think that, most of us in the industry, like you just said, we work ourselves to the bone.
Yeah.
We work midnights, we work weekends, we don't stop. And I don't understand, why is that? If you work at Fast Signs, you work at Sign Up Quick or one of these franchise stores or large format print companies, 5:30, 6 o'clock comes around. For the most part, you're done. You're out of there. Everybody clocks out. You walk away. Maybe you have some big projects. Sometimes you have to stay late. No big deal.
Right.
But why is it for our industry? Why do we feel that we have to stay up till midnight to finish somebody's car? It's just a car. It's not like it's not going to kill that person to not pick their car up at 8 o'clock in the morning. Give it an extra day, push it forward. It's not worth, and I learned this, I've learned this lesson, and I'm pretty good about it. I've actually really backed off my hours big time because of my family. If the guy from Bob's Bugs and Heating and Air doesn't pick his truck up at 5 o'clock versus 7 o'clock, or the next day, what is it? It's not going to kill them. So why do we put these deadlines on ourselves? I've talked to a couple of guys who've said, their relationships with their wives are really diminishing because they're working till 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. The wives are getting upset. They're just becoming more and more distant. And, I've had these conversations with these guys, and I'm like, guys, you can't do this. I've been divorced. I've been through a lot of this different stuff. Make sure your family is happy.
Yeah.
And for the first year and a half, 2 years that I had this with the Wrapabull, I was working those hours. And one Saturday, I was coming up to the shop, and my son, he's 14 at the time. He's about 12. He just looked at me and he's like, Dad, are you going to work again on Saturday? I was like, fuck. No, I'm not going. I said, let's go to Frankie's Fun Park. Let's go ride some go-karts. Me and you, let's go. And at that point, I realized, family is more important than this job. And, the customers are going to understand that. You just have to set that expectation for them. And,
right.
These guys that are pushing so hard and so long, they're going to push themselves out of their family. They're going to turn around and their 8-year-old kid's going to be 17, graduating high school,
I'll tell you, man.
They're going to be
it's like, not to cut you off, but I was there. I was there.
Yeah.
I had my daughter, young age. She grew up around me, working from home, building a shop, coming with me to the shop, being in the car seat, with me while I'm installing, and then it transitioned into her being home with her mom and me being the sole provider of the family. And, those long days, long hours, it diminished my home life. And I ended up getting divorced because of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's a tough pill to swallow. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But you know what? When you sit back, and it's probably too far along, you sit back and you watch the years go by, and you're just like, what the hell have I been doing? Like, all I can remember is work. And what are your children, thinking?
Yeah.
They're thinking the same thing. Dad's got to go to work. Dad's got to go to work. Years fly by so quickly now. With me being a dad, I think prior to me even having children, the weeks, the days, the years would go by a little slower, but after, you watch these kids grow up and you're just like, oh my God, like 2-3 years go by real fast. And,
oh man.
And now I have my little one. She's 6 now, but I've been divorced probably about 3 years now. So at the time she was about 3. Man, I've had the best time of my life these last 3 years. I get them every weekend, but you know what? The weekends for me, I used to work. You know what I mean? But now it's like, now I can have time with them and enjoy my weekends now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is you brought up a serious question. I mean, I love talking about this type of thing because it's ultimately true. You know, why do we work ourselves to the bones? Like,
there's no point.
There's no point. Nobody wins out of that. Nobody.
No, nothing.
You know,
I mean, my son is 14. My daughter will be 16.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, he's playing rugby now, which is cool. And I'm like, I'll be damned if I'm missing a rugby game.
Right.
And I make sure I take him to practice every practice. So, cause you said you get your kids every weekend.
I do.
We do week on, week off. So I picked them up. Well, Charlotte and I picked them up on Sunday,
mm-hmm.
and then we have them all week. And then we drop them back off at their mom's house on that following Sunday. So we have them all week. And those are the weeks that I try to schedule light,
mm-hmm.
Try.
Right.
And then the weeks that I don't have them, I just hammer it, man.
Right.
And then that way that, you know, the weeks that we don't have them, Charlotte's here at the shop with me, and
mm-hmm.
we're hammering it out. And, you know, but when they're here, I do my best to do it. And like, it's been a hell of a 5 months. I mean, we've been busy as crap. It's been ridiculous. And I was talking to Austin on the phone the other day. I was like, listen, I know we got our pay-as calls. I know we got our stuff that we do. But just to give you a heads up, I'm going to disappear at the end of June. I'll be gone for a week. I might be on a mountaintop. I might be on a boat somewhere. I don't know. But me and Charlotte are getting away.
Yeah. You got to have that time.
We'll be gone.
Yeah. You got to have that time.
Because she works a full-time job. And then I work here. And then on Thursdays, she works Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, half day Thursday, and not on Friday. So Thursdays and Fridays, I have her here. So she does all of her billing, all of her invoicing. We do scheduling and such in the evening. But, you know.
She's working double duty.
Yeah. So, I mean, I get her a bottle of wine when I can, and you know, she loves that. But, you know, so if we can take some of this money that we make here and there and go on a trip and just me and her and have some time to ourselves, and that's what we need to do.
That's it. It's finding that equal balance is the thing.
Yeah.
You know, that.
But I just wish that our industry would just, I don't know how we're going to do it, but I think that maybe this is a RapsCon conversation, the SEMA question. I don't know. But, we all need to get together and figure out, why do we do this?
I think it's a touchy subject. Nobody wants to talk personal stuff. You know what I mean? I feel like if you say things out loud and you have perspective outside of the box looking in, and also acknowledging that they're doing the same thing, where everyone can be like, yes, you're right. I understand. Because when you're in the zone, you're only thinking and breathing work. At the end of the day, and it's only you and Charlotte. It's not like it's you and like 3 other guys, 2 other guys, 1 other guy. It's you. You guys don't produce. You guys don't get paid. And I think that's a mentality that a lot of us have. I was a solo guy for the longest time, and then I outsourced a lot of my installs in-house. They would come to my shop, 3M preferred installers. I would have them come in when I had 2 or 3 fleet jobs for the week. Have them come in and just help me. It would just alleviate me from doing extra or working later, and I could kind of go do something else. Whether, get ready for the following week in production or going to look at more quotes, look at new jobs, and I could leave them at my shop all day. They would lock up for me if I needed to.
Wow.
Yeah, they were awesome. They ended up becoming I ended up becoming really good friends with them. So we had that mutual thing. But I think it stems from the solo installer or the solo shop. It's tough. You can't deny that, you're not thinking in the back of your head, the quicker I get this out, the quicker I can get paid and work on the next job. Yeah. At the end of the day.
Yeah. Or hey, my mortgage is coming up. I need to make some jobs.
Right.
I need to complete some jobs and get paid. Yeah.
Right.
For sure.
Right. I think it's more of the I don't know how to put it, more or less like the call to action has to be right now. And I think if you put yourself in that you put yourself in that position, it's going to be harder for you to lean off of that. Because you had said you had switched your hours up, but you probably didn't do that like straight up overnight. Like next week, forget it.
Hell no.
8 to 5, that's it. Doors are closed at 5. Like it couldn't happen.
I don't do that now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't do that now. Like I go so it's just me. So in the evening, so what I do is I do pretty much production all day. So I'm doing like installs all day.
Mm-hmm.
And then I go home and I design. And then, so my shop is literally about 3 minutes from my house. Like I've got a 2,500 square foot shop where I do all my production. I've got a showroom. I've got all this kind of stuff really cool right here.
Mm-hmm.
But I keep my printer and my laminator at the house.
Ooh.
Because right now I do, what I do is I do all my designing in the evening.
Yeah. And
then I run the printer at night. So when I go to bed, I hit print and and it prints my jobs.
Really?
So,
well, I mean,
yeah.
Smart. I'll give you that for sure.
I'm still working.
Absolutely.
You can't turn off because, kids in Charlotte want to sit there and watch TV or watch a Netflix series or play some Uno or whatever.
Right.
I'm like, oh, well, hold on, let me go check on the printer. So then I'm just joining myself for my family again.
Yep.
Walking away, pissing them off.
Yep.
And then checking on the printer. So then I come back and we're like, okay, where were we? Let's get started again. Kind of like, it's not awful, but it just kind of sucks. And so my son is going to remember, when he's 28 and he's got a family or whatever, he's like, oh yeah, we used to play games like this at the time. My dad used to always stop and walk away.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the crappy part. So we're actually building a new shop, right across the parking lot. It's going to be 4,500 square feet. So we're going to have a two double garage. So 50 feet. It's going to be 50 by 50 worth of garage space with two 14-foot doors.
Wow.
And then we're going to have a 25 by 50 that's going to be all showroom and production. So I'll have all the printers and everything here.
Yeah.
So once that's done, then I'll move everything over here, and then we won't have to worry about that anymore.
Yeah.
So, but it's really good now because I can just, I can get everything done.
Well, I mean, you're working 24 hours without really working 24. The other 12 hours is the printer running by itself while you're sleeping. You're still making money. I mean, that's genius. But, like you said, you get up in the middle of a movie just to go check on something. It definitely, they may not say nothing, but they're acknowledging what you're doing. And it sucks when you work from home. Yeah. I totally agree.
That's one of the things that we're trying to, and I don't know. I know I've seen that you've liked some of the stuff on my Facebook and Instagram. I've got a special needs daughter, so she needs a shit ton of help.
Right.
She doesn't walk, she doesn't talk, she's in diapers, she can't feed herself. She really can't do anything for herself. It's basically having a 16-year-old that got the mentality of maybe an 11 or 12-year-old,
mm-hmm.
but the body movements and of a 2 or 3-year-old.
Wow.
So she's always going to need help. So while I'm here, Charlotte's got Sophie by herself.
Right.
So that means that she has to put her on the bathroom by herself. She's got to feed her by herself. She's got to get her in bed by herself. She's got to get her changed. So there's a lot of extra work that we do on top of all the extra work that we do for this. So, it's definitely, when you're talking earlier about finding balance, I mean, you've got to find that balance. And I just, over the past year and a half, I've become a very strong proponent of, don't take your family for granted, and which is why I'm kind of like, talking to some of these guys that I've been talking to, because I see them working, they're pumping out 24-hour, 36-hour days, and it's just like, why are you not sleeping? Have you seen your kid? Did you say hello? Oh, I FaceTimed her.
Yeah, dude, it's not the same.
Really, that's the relationship you want to have with your kid?
Yeah.
Come on. So. Sorry, we got off track, but I've gotten kind of passionate about that lately.
No, I'm 100% on board with you on talking about this topic. I mean, that's something that I bring up a lot. If I know people have children, I ask how do you do it? Because from someone being there and not seeing the trouble spots earlier and realizing after it's already set in stone. I had to deal with the consequences after, but, thinking now moving forward, if I was ever to open up another shop, I would do things completely different. It'd be set schedule. I'd have a staff, everyone would leave at a certain time and start at a certain time, because at the end of the day, everyone's got a family. Things can wait till tomorrow. And that's how I would run it. You know what I mean? Straightforward, easy, like a normal job, like you would work anywhere else.
Yeah. And the thing is, and I think that doing what you're talking about doing with that, I think the way that makes that work is scheduling. Scheduling is tough for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how long is this car going to take? And we're going to put in 3 days for this car. Oh man, it took me 5 hours to get those taillights out. So I'm behind a half a day. So then you've got to work later on. So I think that if you were to set your schedule, set your hours like you're talking about doing, as long as, if the customer says, hey, how long is it going to take? And you're telling yourself, it's going to take 3 days. Go ahead and tell them 5.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go ahead and tell them 5 days. And if they complain about it, listen, typically this would be 3 days. We're talking about 2 extra days here. How about this? I'll get you a rental car for 2 days. It's going to cost me $50 for a rental car for 2 days. So I'll take $50 out of my profit. Big deal. But that $50 just bought you 2 more days.
And bought you time with your family.
Exactly.
Because you're not stressing out.
Time.
You're
not stressing out. You're not sweating it. And we've done that a couple of times where we've gotten people rental cars.
Wow.
I see some of these guys over in Europe where they've got, multiple cars for their shops,
mm-hmm.
where they've got like their version of our Yugo or whatever.
Right.
And they've got them wrapped up, and those are loaner cars for their customers. So when the customer drops their car off, they're like, okay, well, here's our car for 5 days. Bring it back. We'll see you then. And I would love to do that. But my accountant and our lawyer are like, whoa, no.
Yeah, liability
yep. Flag.
Yep.
But I mean, I would love to buy like a couple of like Chevy Sparks, have 1 or 2, wrap it up really cool, and then just say, okay, don't worry about it. This is just your car. But there's a lot of risk to take to work out through that. But I want to figure out how to do that.
That would be really, really smart. That's a great idea. It's free advertising.
It's free advertising. And
it's a write-off.
The customer is like super happy, and then somebody sees that customer, or something. That the customer's friends are like, "What are you in that car for?" "Oh, I'm getting my car wrapped by so and so, and they gave me this car. Dude, I got this car for 5 days. Let's go do some donuts." And who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's only a write-off at the end of the year. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
All the maintenance you do on it, all the work, new tires, oil changes. It's just another write-off. Yeah, you got to come up with the money and pay for the liability on such things, but you can work around it. If you're making good money, there's no reason why you can't make that happen.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's another. Not to be asking you questions, but I did hear you say the other day. I was listening to somebody else's podcast, and y'all were talking about making money after. You're not going to make money in this business until 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
Right. So, I guess how did y'all figure that out? Maybe I'm lucky. I don't know. First year, dude, I cleared awesome. Like we've been profiting every year.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's just because it's just on me or, so what, I always like talking business.
Yeah, always. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I started my business probably 2005-ish, give or take. Mm-hmm. I mean, my first year, I made like 35 grand. You know what I mean? I had to put a lot of money back in as far as like being able to cover costs on materials to purchase. If you didn't pick up a deposit, you would have to cover the cost of materials and blah, 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 blah to kind of keep the cash flow going.
Sure.
I cleared 35 grand. The next year, maybe I did like 50 grand. I mean, I wasn't making anything crazy that I would be like, oh my God, like
we're rolling
in the dough. That's nothing to sneeze about. You know what I mean? But I mean, at the end of the day, when you're hitting 6 figures, when you hit your first 6 figures, that's a good accomplishment. When you clear at the end of the year, you go to the tax guy, you're like, damn, man, I did 100 grand. I cleared 100 grand. That's a good feeling. 100 grand's a good feeling to do that. And but that didn't happen for me till, I don't know, maybe 5-6 years later.
Wow,
I never got to that number. And this is going back, 2010. You know what I mean? Now, if I was to do it, I think I could clear 6 figures easy. Not to like toot my own horn, but I think the market isn't where it was, 8 years ago.
Man, the market is screaming right now. I mean, it seems like everybody who's in the industry right now is really killing it.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. And it's not just the commercial market, it's
everything.
It's the color change. And
it's everything. It's signage, it's banners, it's digital printing itself. It's everything in this industry. And that's what I like about it, because you can go in so many avenues. I mean, don't get me wrong. When I first started, I did everything, man. I did pan face signs, digital prints, digital banners. I hung the shit. I put up blade signs. Those were probably the worst things to do, the blade signs. Yeah. I hated drilling into the concrete or brick. Mm-hmm. The liability on that alone was stupid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the amount of time you spend in City Hall or the building inspector to try to pull these permits, I cut that after, I don't know, maybe right when I physically I quit naming my business. So my business name was Design Flow Graphics. And once I made the jump to just do wraps, I cut all that fat out. I didn't want to deal with it. It was just Design Flow Wraps, and that's what I did. And that was it. And it was the best thing I ever did, was cut out the extra stuff, because it took me away from actually building the wrap part of my business, See,
that's what, and I'll tell you, to this day, I hate the name of my company. My wife, Charlotte, she pulled it out. And everybody loves it. It's great because it's Wrapabull. Anything is Wrapabull.
Right.
And, we took the ABLE off of it. We took the BULL, which is our name, and it's Wrapabull. And we use it in our marketing as, everything's excitable, it's creatable, we play with that a little bit. But here's my thing is that, whenever we started this, I was like, man, I'm not going to be able to make money just doing wraps. I've got to make banners, and I've got to make signs, and I've got to do this, and I've got to do that. And she's like, this name is just pigeonholing us, babe. This isn't going to work.
Right,
and,
right.
I got to the point where I was like, now I'm like, I don't want to print a banner. I don't, like, if somebody comes in the shop, because we're on a main road, so we get a lot of foot traffic. And if somebody comes in and says, hey, I need a for sale sign, can you make me one? I'm like, we can, but, typically I don't. And if somebody wants a banner or something, typically I won't make a banner unless it's a really good customer, like one of our commercial customers or something.
Right. Easy add-on.
Yeah, just an add-on type of deal. Literally, I have another sign shop. I could probably walk out of my door, pick up a rock, and throw and hit another sign shop. And so we work hand in hand a little bit now and again. I pass those kinds of jobs to them, but they've gotten to the point now where they see me make money with wraps, and they're trying to get into wraps now.
Right.
So now it's kind of like we're kind of fighting a little bit with customers, but I'm not gonna just do banners and stuff just to grab some yokel
easy money.
I'm not gonna do that. So,
I personally like the name Wrapabull. I got it right when I heard it. I understood exactly where it was going. If you could put the last name with the name of the business, it makes complete sense.
When people find out that my last name is Bull, they're like, oh,
there it is.
Yeah. And I'm like, it's cool, man. I like it. Don't get me wrong. I do like it, and it's grown on me, but I just, for the first 2 years, so now we're getting ready to start our fourth year. I'm finally like, yeah, whatever, So I
like it.
But
I like it.
I appreciate it. Everybody seems to like it. Everybody seems to like it, so it's cool, I'm rolling with it.
And it's different. You know what I mean? You don't have the cliche of having it saying, wraps. Like if you had Wrapabull wraps, it'd be too much. You know what I mean? I think Wrapabull, it's just a cool name. It's simple. You've got the wrap in there. It's clean. It's not a lot. And sometimes simple is better. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. I mean, simple is great. Everybody, I was on that, I did that webinar with Kick Charge about I don't know if you saw it, but Kickcharge did the design type thing the other day, you know?
I did see that. That was about probably about a month ago, right?
Yeah, it's been a little bit of time.
Yeah.
So I jumped in on that and watched it for a while, you know, and because those guys, I mean, they're killing it with those retro designs and everything.
Oh my God.
They kill it.
Dan's on another level, man.
He is. And, you know, I just, you know, listening to him talk is always interesting. And listening to another designer is always interesting. And, you know, it's at the end of the day, it's about being clean. I mean, you got these people who are throwing every stick and stone and every Photoshop filter you can onto a wrap. It's like, oh, dear God, just give me a name, phone number, and a web address and something cool.
Right.
Make it easy.
Right.
So
got all the filters, the bevels, the hard bevels, you know, outer glows, drop shadows. They want to stick everything that's underneath that Photoshop layers palette that you got. You know what I mean? And then you look back 10 feet and it's blurry as hell. It's like, oh yeah, that worked out great.
Yeah. So can't even read it. Please get away. What's that saying?
Don't get me wrong. Like I was a victim of that. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, I think we all were.
We all did.
We all have been.
You know what I mean?
And we all have the customers that want that shit. You know, they're like, oh no, that's cool. Let's do this, and this, and orange and green will look great together and perfect. Let's do that with a glow and orange and green background with white letters and a purple glow. That'd be great. No.
Oh shit. Oh my God.
No. Not
unbelievable. I wanted to go back, you know, to your fast signs. You go into fast signs every day. What sparked you to just go to fast signs at 17? Like, why wouldn't you go to like, you know, I don't know, like a marketing agency or something else? What sparked you to say, I want to create stickers or in this particular industry?
I think probably because like I've always been a car guy. Like I'm a car dude from, you know, day one. So, you know, growing up in high school, I graduated in 92. So I grew up with all the big stereos and the big car club stuff and all this stuff. And that, you know, so I would go to Fast Times and have them make stickers for me.
Right.
I'd have them, you know, do car club logos and stuff like that. So I figured, you know, hey, if I got a job there, I could make stickers for free. I could make that shit for free, you know? So I was like, well, because I mean, I draw, I'm an artist, I paint, you know, I used to, most people know I used to run around in the train yards and paint trains and paint walls and do silly stuff and
graffiti.
fun stuff. And yeah, so,
nice.
You know, so I've always been an artist. I've always been very creative. So I just figured that outlet could be a different venue. So, you know, I just went there and that was great. And it just, a couple of years in, the guy that I worked with, the other production guy, he looked over at me and he just looked at me and goes, you're a lifer, you know. I'm like, what is a lifer? He's like, you're going to be in this business for life. I'm like, nah, ain't going to happen. I'll do something else. Here I am.
That's incredible, man. That's incredible. So now you've got over 20 years now in the industry. That's incredible. That's incredible. And you grew up with basically seeing a lot of the evolution of all this that we have now, basically.
Oh yeah. The first, so like we used to wrap the Fast Times we had that I worked at. We had a contract with the city and we, you know, put graphics on the buses and stuff. I remember one time we did, a full city bus with this cartoon picture of this kid on the back of a dragon in a night suit with a hypodermic needle. Like he was like a jousting. He's on the back of a dragon jousting, but it was a hypodermic needle and was talking about like some sort of vaccines or something from back in the day. But it was all vector and it was all cut vinyl. It was all 15-inch cut vinyl. And it was like 15 colors on the side of a bus, both sides. And I wish to God I could find a picture. We took a picture. I wish I could find a picture of that thing because that would just be like gold. I mean, it was like, I want to say it took us like a week to do it. And it was just like 15-inch layers. You put all the black down. Okay. Then I'll come back and put the white and then put the silver and the blue. You know, it was just like, Jesus.
Respect, man.
But it was cool.
That was a thing back in the day. That was the only way you could create those types of designs.
Yeah, definitely.
And you had to have a really good designer because you had to have the knowledge on, you know, the welding, the compound, the compounding. If you welded the wrong color, you would mess up the whole.
You're done.
Yeah. You'd have to start all over.
Yeah. So, and then we got into then 3M started doing the Scotch print stuff, and the only way you could get it was through 3M. So we'd have to order the Scotch print stuff. I remember we did a city bus for Piggly Wiggly, which is a grocery store chain. And it had like these big, huge orange slices all the way down the bus. And that was the first thing that we ever had printed through Scotch print. And after we got it done, we Fast Signs used to say, hey, submit us your projects, blah, blah, blah. Stuff. And that project that we did got on the cover of one of their national pamphlets that they would print out for all the franchises.
Wow.
So that was kind of cool. That was really kind of fun. And then, I remember somebody was talking on one of your podcasts about the Gerber Edge. I mean, that was gold. And if I could have one today, if I could go buy one, which I can, but they're really expensive still, I would go buy one, man. That is the best machine ever. I think that everybody underestimates that machine.
Man,
I mean, it's great for certain things.
Yeah.
But dude, that machine is, I love it.
The workhorses, the old school ones, don't cut like the new ones do. I'll tell you that. I still have my first cutter, a 24-inch Roland PNC. It's a PNC, I think was it a PNC 950 or something like that? The thing sounded like a dinosaur when it would cut.
Yeah.
Oh my God. But man, I could cut little tiny decals with that thing. Little tiny letters that you really cannot cut with the new stuff now. It was, I don't know why, but I still have it. Believe it or not, I haven't hooked it up because it's old school with the serial port. There's no computer that has a serial port. I gotta find one that's like serial to USB, which I doubt they make, but
or serial to Wi-Fi or something. Yeah,
something that I could get it back up and running. But that thing was a gem. I paid at the time that I bought it. It was already like 12 years old at the time. Some guy had it. Some guy had it in his closet. And I was like, yeah, I'll pay for it. I think I stole it for like $250. Put a new blade in it.
Wow.
Replaced the strip on the bottom and worked like new. Had it up and running in like an hour.
Somebody was posting something about on the Rap Society the other day about the Gerber Edge, and I was like, I wrote down like in words, I wrote down the sound, like that brrr, click, 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 brrr, you hearing that thing for hours, I mean, but
everyone can relate. Everyone can relate.
Yeah,
those were the things that we kind of grew up with back then, and up until now with this new technology where you can hardly even hear the damn print heads moving back and forth. They're so goddamn smooth. And speaking of that, what do you have now at your office that you're working with?
So I run a Mamaki CJV 150.
Okay.
So that's the 65-inch printer cutter combo.
Right.
And then I've got a GSP. What is it? The HS65. It's their top heat 65-inch laminator. And then I've got a 54-inch just cutter from BS something or other. I don't use it very much, and then I just ordered a Graphtec 60-inch cutter. What is it, the FC 6800 or something?
Yeah.
And then we're also getting ready to order another Mamaki printer only, just to have as well, because I've been doing a lot of printing for other people. So there's a shop locally I do all their printing.
Mm-hmm.
There's a shop in Greenville that they send me their files. I print for them. I send it to them. And there's a couple other people that I print for. So, I'm making, which is kind of cool. I'm making money just printing for people. I mean, they send me their files, push print, out the door.
Right.
So
nothing wrong with that.
It's getting to it's getting to the point where I have to, for me to keep my production going, I've got to get something to have the production for the other people.
Yeah. I think the best decision I ever made was separating the all-in-one print cut feature with just having it just print and then having a separate cutter for it. Man, I produce so much. I used to cut a lot of decals for. You ever watch the show Wicked Tuna? You ever watch the show?
Oh,
Wicked
yeah.
Channel? Yeah.
Yeah, I know that is, yeah.
So Hard Merchandise, the older gentleman there, he kind of had like a handlebar mustache, real,
Yep, I think I did, yep.
real big Boston accent. I used to do all of his stickers for him.
Oh, wow.
Like all the ones with got tuna. He had like crazy sayings on them. And his sister would be the one that would be placing the orders because they would sell out as soon as the season started. They'd sell out in a day, like T-shirts, stickers, everything. So one day I got an order. I had an SP540V 54-inch roll and printer, all in one. And she called me like 2 weeks before the show started or the season. She's like, "Listen, I need to place an order. I need like 1,000 stickers." Dude, it took me like at least a week to print and cut 1,000 stickers. It was crazy. I couldn't do anything. And, so she, came by, bought them, paid the bill. And I was like, no way. I'm never doing that. I'm never doing that again. I literally took the money she gave me and went out and bought a Suma 54-inch or 55-inch Suma cutter. Like, literally, like, the next week. I'm like, that ain't happening again. 2 months later, she reordered. Dude, I printed 1,000 stickers and cut 1,000 stickers in 1 day. 1 day.
Yeah.
1 day.
Yeah.
It was crazy. That paid for itself. It was mind-boggling. I went from 5 days to 1 day. How much money did I make? It was unbelievable. Yeah. Did I spend $5,000? Yeah, I spent $5,000, but I literally made that money back pretty quickly. Yeah. Best thing. If you can separate them. But I know some shops don't have the area or location to have two separate machines in their production room. So the all-in-ones, perfect. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They are good. I just the part I don't like about the all-in-ones, I don't feel that they track as well when they're cutting.
Yeah.
They just don't. I mean, even though they've got 7 pinch wheels on there, I struggle if I do a print cut job. If I need something that's going to be on the side of a van or something, and it's longer than 8 to 9 feet,
mm-hmm.
it's like biting your nails when you're seeing that thing roll all the way out. And I'm like, oh shit, is it going to skew? Am I going to, and sometimes I get to the point where I'm like, you know what, screw this. I'm just going to hand cut it. And I just hand cut the whole thing.
Oh man.
And it's just like, so that's why we went ahead and bought the bullet for that Graph Tech. And, so it should be here soon. So
you won't be disappointed. You won't.
Oh no. A lot of the shops that I've worked at in the past, we've always had Graph Tech printers and our cutters, and they're great. So, but other than that,
that's awesome. Hand cutting it, man. Just brought me back to a couple of jobs that I like. It literally just flashed through my eyes, like my eyes, that like I could close my eyes and see myself cutting a couple of these jobs by hand, and I'm just, just F this. I'm never doing it again. I can't believe I'm hand cutting this shit. And man, I would probably only be able to cut with the rolling maybe 8 feet comfortable. Like 8 feet would be okay, but I'd have to babysit it. I'd have to hold the film in the front. So if it hit the floor, cause it didn't have a catch, fucking, whatchamacallit, the catch thing in the front.
Yeah, a little catch. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If it literally, and it always happened when I never was looking, but it would track down and it would hit the floor perfectly. Like the vinyl would hit the floor on edge, and it would wrinkle all the way, almost like a wave. It'd be like a wave going all the way up to the cut head, and then it would jam. Oh my God, the amount of times I walked in there with the thing just like jammed all up inside the cutter, and the fucking thing beeping, error. It's like, shit.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't miss those days, but sometimes I do. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, sometimes I don't miss those days.
No. Man, let's talk about some projects you've done.
Okay.
What the Golf McLaren project?
Oh, dude, that was sick.
Dude, Nasty. Unbelievable. See, how cool of a job do we have that you can like sit there and put stickers on a McLaren? Not every day.
Dude, I've got hooked up with this company, and all they do is tune McLarens. That's what they do. They have customers that come in, they ship them their cars from all over the country, and they're like, I want to do this to my car. And they're like, okay, here's $140,000. Make my car go fast. They got. It's just a sick place.
Stupid money.
Stupid money. And I met them through another friend of mine, and I've become friends with these guys, as well as good working relationship people. They've actually got me a McLaren 12C coming in a couple of weeks. Actually, it's like next week or week after. It's a Volcano Red that's got the P1 conversion front end, and the whole front end and side skirts, everything's carbon fiber. And they want to I've got to do a full chrome color change. They want to see no red on the car. I'm like, oh God, okay. So that's going to be a tough one, but it's cool. I think Charlie Trulio from LE Wraps is going to come out. I think he's going to help me. So I'm kind of excited. Hopefully he'll come out.
Oh, that's awesome. I actually have him coming on the podcast next week.
Let me tell you, Charlie's my dude. Like I've met him just through Pain is Dead. That's the only way I've met Charlie.
Yeah.
Met him 2 years ago for the first time in person at SEMA, and I was just like, because we had to wrap he and I wrapped an M6 for our wrap party in the Oracal, and we were like, hey, you want to wrap a car? I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And we were just like chilling, and it was just awesome. We did a great job together. We worked well together, and after that, he's my dude. Like I fully respect Charlie. He's got some good stuff going on, and he's just a great guy.
Yeah, he definitely. I've watched. It's funny. I love the videos they create on Instagram. It's so.
Oh my God!
It's so funny. I love when they come up with new stuff. It makes me laugh so hard.
But that's how he is in like regular life too. Like those stories that you see and those videos you see them play.
Yeah.
That's probably like day in the life of LE Wraps. That's their shop.
That's awesome.
Because like anytime I call him, I'm like, hey Charlie, what's up? Hey baby, what's going on? How you doing? How's your day? What's up, man? I'm like, you just called me baby. Yeah. It's all good. How are you?
Can we keep it straight professional, please?
Yeah. So, and great installer as well. So you'll have a good conversation with him. He's a wealth of knowledge, and you'll have a good conversation with him when you do that. That'll be great.
That's awesome. So on this project, are you just doing straight, just like the regular chrome, no colored chrome?
No, he just wants like straight up color. He just wants straight up silver chrome.
Wow.
And I think I need to talk to them about that deadline, but I think that's a Gold Rush Rally car too. So I think that's got to be done here, like lickety split. So, that's kind of scary.
Yeah, but, a little bit, using the most expensive material you could use on probably one of the most expensive cars.
Yeah. No pressure.
Yeah, no pressure. None. It's all good.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we did, so we've done the Gulf livery McLaren for them. They have their own shop car, which we did. They partner with Michelin a lot. And so I did a design for one of their shop cars with a Michelin livery on it. It was pretty cool. I entered that, and
it was like a BMW, right? I think.
No. That was last year's Replica King entrance for me. It was a yellow and blue Michelin livery McLaren 12C, 1,200 horsepower.
Wow.
But the BMW was a couple of weeks ago. I do a lot of stuff for Michelin North America. And so 2 years ago, we did their tire wrap One Lap of America car, which is a BMW M4 competition. And they were doing it again this year, and it was a toss-up between the new Corvette Z06, that crazy, powerful one they just released a few months ago.
Mm-hmm.
It was either going to be that or another M4. And I told them, I was like, listen, guys, your deadline is like right here. I've already got the files for last year's design. You guys have already approved it. I only had like a couple of days to do this. I was like, let's just do this. Let's just flip the colors. last year your front end was blue, the back end was yellow with stripes in the hand and this, that, and the other. Let's just flip it. Let's make the front end yellow, the back end blue. You guys can approve it. We'll knock it out and get it done. So literally I had to do that car in like a day and a half, 2 days from printing it to having it delivered. Wow. And then delivered out to Indiana, I think it was, for the start of the one lap thing. And they had it wrapped for about a week and a half. They did the event, and then this past Sunday they brought it back to me, and I unwrapped it and gave the car back to BMW.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's freaking awesome. Now tell me, do you get to drive a little bit of the McLaren? Pull it in and out of the garage once in a while? Just in and out of the garage. I mean, the McLaren, I don't know if you ever sat in one, but I think you are about my size. We're kind of bigger guys. Not saying we're fat guys. We're just like tall and, bigger. But those McLarens are super tight. Like I get almost claustrophobic in that because it's just so tight. But it's like sitting in a cockpit, right? Yeah, it's just so tight. And whenever we go up there, they're like, "Hey, you want to go for a ride?" I'm like, "Yeah, let's go for a ride." And those guys are crazy. They drive the shit out of those cars, and they are not scared of those cars. And I'm good. I'm good. You get sucked into that seat with the G-forces, and your chest is just getting compressed. That's a great feeling, man.
When you go from 180 or so to 35 on the interstate because of traffic, it's pretty scary. So, I mean, these guys are just wide open. They just don't care.
Wow.
So, but they know the car. They trust the car. So they drive well. So, it is what it is.
That's so funny. Yeah, but even still with those McLarens, I mean, you've got a pretty good supercar yourself, your personal vehicle.
Oh, I love my car.
Dude, how many people could say they have an old school GTR? Those are gems, man. Tell me the story behind that.
So I've always been a Honda guy. Like I had a back in '99, when Austin and I met. Me and Austin Smith, we probably met like in, I don't know, 96-ish or so.
Yeah.
And in '99, I had a wide body Honda Civic, and it was featured in Honda Tuning, Honda Tuner, and Import Tuner.
Nice.
Back in the day, and it was done. It was really cool. And actually, the funny thing was, Austin and I, when he had his car shot for a magazine as well, we actually had our photo shoot together. So we did our photo shoot for the magazines at the same time, which is kind of cool. But I got rid of that car, and then I was kind of car toyless for a little while, and I got married to Charlotte, and she's like, "Man, I really wish you had your wide body gold Civic again." And she's like, "Oh, I wish too." And she's like, "Well, if you want to build another car, I'd be cool with it." I'm like, "What? Repeat that into the microphone?"
Yeah.
She's like, "Seriously." She's like, "Seriously, if you want to buy something and we'll build it, let's do something fun." I'm like, "Okay." So I found a CRX and bought a CRX and put a B18 in it, wire tucked it, painted the engine base. That BMW Austin Gold metallic, and I was putting around in it, having a good time, just playing. And I'm driving home from the shop, and there's this 3-car hauler with 3 Skylines on it. I'm like, whoa, what is that doing over here? And so I was like, and I stopped, jumped out the car, like, dude, what is this? What's going on? And I think I kind of freaked the guy out because I kind of hit him with 20 questions. And he's like, "No, I import these, and I got the blah blah blah." And literally, his shop is 2 miles from my house, and there's probably 60 cars. Half of them are Skylines, half of them are Sylvias and 300Zs and all kinds. I mean, anything you can think of, little vans. He's got them all right-hand drive, imported from Japan.
That's insane.
I was like, dude, how much do these things cost? He's like, well, GTR is like, they usually start around 18 to 23.
That's not bad, though. That's not bad.
For the car, yeah. So I was like, well, let me see what I can do. And he's like, okay. So that day I put my CRX up online for sale. I sold it a week later, and I went to him. I'm like, listen, I got $5,000. What can we do? What kind of car can I get? I want something cool. And so we were talking, and we did some numbers, and I actually wrapped his trailer. I gave him some money. I made him some stickers. We wheels and dealed, and I walked away with a 1990 GTST Skyline single turbo, the 2.0 V6 single turbo.
Yeah.
picked it up on Father's Day. I'm like, sweet, we're gonna go to the marina. We're gonna have some dinner. That's a good time, some lunch, whatever. Go to have some lunch. And I had the car for 5 hours, literally. I'm driving home. I'm sitting there at the stop sign, getting ready to turn. I look in my back rearview mirror, and this girl is just barreling on me. I threw it in first gear and took off, and she just pummeled me. She put my taillights in the back seat of the car, totaled the car, buckled the roof, buckled the pillars, everything. Literally, my wife is in another car watching all this happen. She's freaking out, and I'm pissed. I mean, had the car for 5 hours, dream car, Skyline. You get a Skyline, and now it's totaled. So, but luckily, insurance kicked in and worked with them, and out of the deal, I was able to buy my car back. I sold it back to the importer. I gave him some more cash, wrapped another trailer, and now I've got the twin turbo GTR. Boom!
Wow, incredible story! Holy cow!
It's crazy. It's crazy, and so it's a fun car, and it's really cool. I hate to say I don't really drive it much. But it pretty much sits in the showroom here at the shop. So when people come in, they look at it like, whoa, you got a Skyline in your shop. I'm like, yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, whatever.
Whatever. So I finally was able to get it wrapped, pulled some long nights, and finally got my own thing wrapped. And I'm never satisfied with anything I design. So I actually reached out to Scott Keppel. Scott and I have been friends for about as long as Austin and I have been friends, because we were all in the same car club way back in the day.
Right.
And so I reached out to him, like, dude, help me out. This is what I want to do. He's like, dude, that is an awful idea. I'm like, no, seriously, just bear with me. Let's do this. So we worked with it, and I was like, no, that's not what I want. That's not what I want. So I wanted to be able to show people who walk into the shop, hey, this is what a gloss color change looks like. Hey, this is what a matte print job looks like.
Right.
So, my first idea was do that, the beige and satin black that everybody is kind of trendy right now, that half and half deal.
Yeah, the tuxedo look.
Yeah, so I was going to do that, and then I was like, well, instead of that, let's do a race car on one side. So I found an old school Datsun livery from the 70s, because Datsun is merged into Nissan.
Right.
And we kind of changed it up a little bit to fit with the Nissan theme. And I told Scott that I want it to be half and half race car, half and half color change. So he sent me the thing that was, I said, this is the color we're going to do color change. He sent me the design. It was like straight line down the middle. I'm like, no. I want it to look like that wrap is being pulled away, like somebody standing on one side of the hood just pulling it back. So I don't want a hard line. So we went back and forth on how we wanted this to look. And finally, we did it and came to agreements on it. And it turned out sick. Everybody loves it. I think it's kind of silly. Like, I feel like I'm back in the 80s with like a mini truck, like split half and half design type of thing.
Yeah.
But it works. I mean, it's pretty cool. I mean,
it suits it well.
Yeah, it does.
And it showcases, and it also adds to your business. It showcases the type of work you can do and options.
Yeah.
I love
it. So we take it to car shows and stuff, and it's like that. Nobody believes me. We did the Avery gloss dark yellow on one side, and I didn't do the door jambs because nobody believes me that it's vinyl. Like, everybody thinks it's a painted yellow car. Right. And I open the door, I'm like, no, it's gray. Just like every other daggone Skyline. It's gray. So, and I can show them that that's what it is. And I'm like, hey, or you can do designs. We can design anything. Yeah. And this other side shows that off. So,
let's walk over to the passenger side here.
Yeah.
Full print.
Let's walk over and take a gander. Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. How many stares do you get when you're sitting in traffic at a light and you're on the same side that the other person's on?
A lot. But it's kind of, it's almost awkward because you're sitting there beside somebody that's staring at you and you're like, do I turn and look? Do I wave at them?
Yeah.
Do I just ignore them? I mean, what do I do? But it's cool because wherever we pull in, even when the car is gray and just looks like every other Skyline, whenever we pull in somewhere, whether you're a car person or not a car person, you're going to look at this car because you're like, if you're not a car person, you're like, why are they driving on the other side of the road or other side of the car? And if they're a car person, they're like, holy shit, it's a Skyline.
Right.
Oh God, So that's why I really wanted to get this car was, for events and stuff, people would it was a really good way to showcase the business.
Yeah, I mean the Skyline alone, that era twin turbo, the whole deal. It's like having a fucking unicorn. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it really pulls people in. It really does. It really pulls people in.
And it's great that, you know, what's funny is I was watching, I think it was Jay Leno's Garage, later version when, they had, Walker's brother come in, and he had, I think it was a 93 Toyota Supra, and he had got it straight from Japan, and I didn't know this was, as soon as the cars hit 15 years old, they're able to be imported into the States and be sold here. I didn't know that, which was kind of cool.
No, it's actually 25 years.
Oh, 25 years. I'm sorry. That's what it was. That makes more sense.
Yeah.
It's a 93.
Yeah.
Duh.
Yeah. Once it's 25 years, you can bring them over. And, everybody always thought that they weren't bringing the Skylines and some of the other cars over because of, you know, oh, they're so powerful. They're not, America doesn't want that kind of powerful car, blah, blah, blah. No, it's because they're unsafe as shit.
Right.
I mean, when that lady girl hit me on the first one, I mean, that car buckled like a tin can.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the only thing that saved me was because there was a spare tire in the back, and that's the only thing that the spare tire lodged against the transmission tunnel once it hit the back seat area. And that's what stopped the crush.
That's incredible, man.
I mean, these cars are completely unsafe. The one that I've got now, it's completely gutted, and I've got a 6-point cage in it. So I mean, I feel a little safer in it if something happens. But so it's a little different, but it's cool.
Yeah, I mean, you had to put that in. Did you come out of the accident unscathed? Oh, did you get hurt in any way or?
No, everything was fine.
Yeah.
I think the only reason why it was fine was because I threw it in first gear and took off, so it took a lot of the initial impact away from it.
Yeah.
I mean, even when I did that, she still pushed me about a block and a half down the road.
Jesus.
So, yeah, she was barreling, dude. But I think if I would not have done that, I think that there would have been a lot more damage.
Hey, man.
To me.
Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, there's always somebody looking over us, you know what I mean? And those little things. And thankfully you acknowledge that looking in your mirrors and seeing that this person ain't stopping. So I better kick it into gear. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's incredible. Unbelievable. I want to ask you just a few more questions because I know we're running out of time. I want to ask you, what drives you now?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, that's a good one. I don't know. When I started this company, I set goals for myself. I said, these are the things that I want to do with this company.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do this. 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 And luckily, within 3 years, I've hit those goals that I've wanted to do. So now it's just, with doing these Gold Rush cars, that was one of my goals. One of my goals was I want to do a Gold Rush rally car. And this year, it looks like I'm designing one and I'm printing and installing two. So I met that goal, and it makes me feel really good. And I can't really believe that I did that within only 3 years.
Right.
Our next goal is to have a little more space, which we're going to do here shortly, hopefully. And then I think my next goal after that is to, hire somebody, get somebody in here to help me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can see my quality when I'm tired and I've been working for, 2 weeks straight without a break. My quality goes down a little bit. I have to back up and take a break. I don't get to put all my effort that I like to into the design work. And then, so hopefully getting somebody in here who can help that, I'll get that going. But I think those are my main goals. I'm not really money driven. I'm not really, ego driven.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of ego in our industry, and I really kind of shy away from that. It kind of really irks me. But it's as long at the end of the day, if I have enough money in my bank to have my kid have some fun, let me have a little bit of fun, take the kids to dinner, pay my mortgage and my phone bill, I'm good. I don't need to be a millionaire. So, I don't That's not a big deal. So setting goals, I think, that are attainable for yourself and for your business, I think that's a good drive for me. I think that's a good drive for anybody. Is if you can set a goal and attain that goal, now make another goal. Don't just stop. Just make another goal. Make it a little harder. Make it a little farther. Keep going.
Yeah. Once you exceed your goal or achieve your goal, it's always good to write up your next one. There's one thing that I always do too is every month I try to write a couple of things in the notebook, and whether it be a special guest I want to have on or equipment I'd want to get to better the podcast or just life in general, like I want to take a vacation in the next 3 months, and just having that written down and visually seeing it once in a while. It's funny how shit happens, man. Just things kind of just
make it happen.
Yeah. It's whether you make it happen or just something just comes along and you're like, oh, okay, I can make this work. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's usually when you're not looking for it. Right.
Yeah.
I think it's more of it's a physical thing. I think if you don't write it down, whether you see it or not, if you don't write it down, things physically don't get attracted to it. You know what I mean? I say this a lot. I'm kind of like, I don't want to say like spiritual or like whatever, but I think when you write things down, things become more attainable or things happen if you write things down consistently. You know what I mean?
Sure.
When you're not looking for it.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Definitely. So put in that notebook, take my daughter to Disney World. That way, by the end of the year, you're gonna make sure that happens,
Right.
And that's kind of what we do. Like I was telling you the other day, earlier that Charlotte said that we're gonna give away. I do old school scheduling. I have 2 whiteboards, and one is for the current month and one is for the next month, and we just rotate it every month. We move it.
Yep.
And so she's already taken the marker and she's crossed out a couple of days at the end of next month, and she's like, no jobs. We're doing something.
Yep.
So she's written it down, like you said. That's a good way to put it. Yeah,
absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely. I want to ask you another question. Who influences you? Who's a big influence? It could be rap related. It could be industry. It could be non-industry. Like who do you talk to or engage with or listen to? Or you read a book and it's just like, man, fuck, that's...
Yeah, I wish I read a book. I don't read books. I don't have time to read books. That was one of the things. Like I listened to William Bryce, his from Raps, and then somebody else, and they were talking about books, and I was like, man, I wish I had time to read a fucking book, But that's great, and that's a great way for them to learn and to expand and everything. I like just to kind of like watch people, and I learn from watching. I don't really learn from talking, really, I guess. I like to watch and learn, but I love having conversations with Jamie Mulliken.
Okay.
He's great. I love having talk. He likes to talk and I like to talk. So when we get talking, it's like 3 hours, and it's like my wife's like, dude, you got to get off the phone. You got to go to bed. Or Jamie, we'll start texting, because Jamie's another one that we talk to a lot. I talk to a lot about the working hours and stuff, because he's a hustler, man. He pumps out a bus like in a day and a half.
Yeah.
He prints it and he does it. And so he'll be working at the shop, and I'll send him a text message at 11. And then, dude, from 11 to 1, we're texting back and forth. I'm like, shit, I got to go to bed. Leave me alone. I'm trying to sleep. But, he's got a great insight, and I love talking to him. Like I said, Charlie earlier, I love talking to Charlie. Austin and I have been friends for a really long time. He and we talk as friends, not as dead members, not as rap owners. We talk as friends a lot. Sometimes my wife and I will go down and we'll just go to Jacksonville for a weekend. We'll catch up with him and go do dinner with he and Monica and just kind of hang out with the kids and stuff.
Yeah.
So, talking to him, he's a mover and a shaker, he's an entrepreneur for sure. He's got great ideas. Anytime I can catch up with Jim Miller in Atlanta, he's a wealth of knowledge and an awesome, just completely awesome dude. Very down to earth, very humble, very quiet. But when he speaks, it's like you need to listen,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And I like to watch what they do. I like to see what they do. And, you know, so I guess that's really, all the Pain is Dead guys, they're pretty amazing people. I mean, very meticulous. Marcos is my boy. I love Marcos.
Wrap specialties.
Dude, I love Marcos.
Yeah.
I know he's kind of up in your neck of the woods. I don't know if you guys are people, you know, or not, but he went and did his Avery training down at Jim Miller's last month or two ago.
Mm-hmm.
And Jim Miller is probably about 3 hours from me. So Marcos drove all the way down from Jersey to Atlanta to do the class. And he took a 4.5 hour detour just to drive to my shop.
Really?
And he got here at like 6 o'clock, and he was here for like 20 minutes. And he's like, okay, well, I'm going to get back on the road. I'm like, dude, stay the night, hang out. He's like, no, I'm just going to get back. He wanted to see his kids, and his daughter, and I completely get that. And I was like, well, come on, at least let's grab some pizza, let's grab something to eat real fast. So we went and picked up my son from rugby practice, and then we went and got pizza, and then he and the guy that was with him all the way back to Jersey, 4 hours out of the way, you know, just to come say hello and put our eyes on each other and shake hands and get a hug. You know, that's kind of where Pain is Dead has taken all the people who are in the network. I mean, you know, it's kind of, you know, it's a group of installers, and we all have competing companies.
Right.
But at the end of the day, we're all friends. And that's one of the things that I always talk to them about in Pain is Dead. It's like, guys, think if we were 50 or 100 miles apart, would we still be friends? And they're like, good thought. Because I mean, at that point, you are competing with them.
Yeah, competitors.
I mean, I'm not competing with Chris Youngish over at Rapworks,
right,
who's amazing. I'm not competing with Marcos or Austin or Charlie. You know, my closest competition to me, you know, would be, I don't know, Jim Miller in Atlanta or Jeremy Connor up in Charlotte, Chris Bepping in Charlotte. You know, there's a couple of up-and-coming shops in Greenville, which is about an hour north, and there's really not a whole lot going on in Charleston right now, which is about an hour south. So, you know, we don't really have any, you know, die-hard competition like Jacksonville or Florida or, you know, up in your neck of the woods, man. You've got like tons of people in your neck of the woods.
We do. Not a lot, but you know, it's the smaller shops that are picking up now. But you know, you've got the guys that have been in the industry maybe 10, 12, 15 years that are killing it now. But yeah, if you go further down, Connecticut, New York, you know, with Phenomenal, and then you got Marcos a little bit further north from that, New Jersey. It's, you know, it gets
CJ at Fine Lines. I mean, CJ is an amazing dude too. I mean, he's you know, he's one that he puts his family first too. I mean, it's awesome to watch his posts with all him and his kids. You know, I mean, and he works like a dog too.
Yeah.
But you know, like up in that area, you know, you guys got you have I feel like you guys are a lot more concentrated up in that New England area, you know?
You know what it is? It's like, at least for me, when I had my business, I was more concentrated in the commercial stuff. The color change stuff, just, I don't know, like maybe it's from like from us to New York or Connecticut where it's kind of not quite there yet. Market wise, but anything below, like as soon as you get to New York and New Jersey, it's color change city down there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The further north you go down, I think it becomes more popular. Up here, it's saturation of the commercial industry. I mean, I've got a buddy that's probably, I don't know, maybe 15 miles from me, killing it with the fleet stuff, but he's doing nationwide accounts as well. But it's all commercial work that he gets. That's basically his bread and butter.
And that, you know, that leads you to a whole different conversation, and I won't start that. But, you know, where do you draw your line of commercial versus color change? Because, you know, to me, commercial is where the money is.
Oh, absolutely.
I do. You know, I mean, you're spending 4 days on a car and you're making $3,500. Or you can do 3 commercial jobs in 2 days and you're getting $2,000 a pop. Dude, you know,
that's like nothing. Like my buddy's pumping out 2 or 3 a day.
Yeah.
Like
right.
he's got a crew of guys. He's making buku bucks every day. When you have a system like that, dude.
Oh, you're killing it. Yeah.
You're making, you're making, you could be you could probably be a $5 million company. Easy, and not sweat. With the crew like that, when you got 9, 10, 15 people working for you and you're pumping out 3-4 wraps a day, all commercial.
Yeah.
It becomes like a factory, dude. And once you're at a factory status, it's like,
it's over.
That's it.
It's over.
You're all set for a while, unless things really go south at some point, money wise or internally or financially. Like you're good. You're good, man. It's just
If you look at my Instagram, and my Facebook page, I put, there's a lot of color change stuff. There's a lot of graphic stuff,
right.
And then every once in a while you see some commercials sprinkled in.
Yep.
I do not post a quarter of my commercial stuff on Facebook or Instagram.
Now let me ask you something. Tell me why.
The only reason why is because there's so many shops around. They're like Sonораmas and Sonic Quicks and franchises and print shops and blah, blah, blah. They will try and poach my customers. Oh. So I don't put commercial jobs. And that's the cool thing about my shop. It's just me. So I do the design work. I do the print work. I do the installation. I do the sales. My wife does the invoicing and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So, I build a relationship with these guys. And when they come in, these customers aren't really customers at that point. They're more like friends and they're extended family because I treat them like that. And so they'll send me messages. Like they'll get an email. I'll post. It's so funny. I'll post something about a car, and then the next day I'll get an email from that same customer. Hey, do you know this guy? Check out this email I just got, and it's from Company X. Hey, I saw that you just got your vehicle wrapped. We would love to work with you. We can probably give you a better deal and work on pricing with you and get things done faster, blah, 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 whatever. And I'm like, seriously? So I had to stop posting commercial work because it's ridiculous, dude.
Poachers hungry.
Big time. And so I was talking to Chris Youngest yesterday. He's like, dude, how do you pump out the amount of stuff that you pump out, because you're posting new stuff on Instagram and Facebook almost daily. And I'm like, dude, you don't even know the half of it. This isn't even half of the work that I'm putting out.
Right.
So, I mean, it's cool, but it's like, dude, I wish I could post everything, I wish I could, but I can't.
That's you know what, and that's a sucky feeling where you feel so you're humbled, you've got the business and you're not able to share or maximize your portfolio if you wanted to use social media as a platform. You know what I mean? You're not able to be like, hey, head over to my social media account. It's all photo based, Instagram, Wrapabull. You'll see a bunch of my work. Yep. You literally cannot post shit on there because you're afraid that or X amount of people are going to see it and be like, oh, we got to send them an email. That's a shitty feeling. That's a shitty feeling. There's so much business out there, and there's a reason why, and there's a reason why they come to you over them. And I'm sure it's not because they're a franchise. It's because you're more approachable. And you're one person. They call, they know they're getting you. And everything from A to Z. So, and to be honest with you, I got a lot of jobs because of that as well. And I think that was my selling point. You call, I'm going to be the one picking up the phone. You don't have to wait or have Sue answer the phone and be like, oh yeah, let me go get Jeff, blah, 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 blah. Or, hey, I'll take a message. No, you got me every time. If there was a question, I could answer it right then and there. And
see, the funny thing is like, I had to change my voicemail on my phone and my wife, when I changed my voicemail, she was like, that is the stupidest thing. I hate your voicemail and it's not professional at all. I'm like, what are you talking about? And my voicemail says, hey, this is Chris from Wrapabull, blah, 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 whatever. But at the end it says, don't leave me a voicemail because I'm not going to listen to it. Send me a text message, shoot me an email, and I'll get to you as fast as I can. And I'll get people, they'll send me a text message and like, they'll go, oh my God, we're from, what is it? This is so-and-so from blah, blah heating and air. Love your voicemail. Get back to me when you can. And it's just, you know, people, for some reason, they're eating it up. And Charlotte's like, I guess it works, you know?
They get it.
It's kind of funny. Yeah, they get it because they know. I mean, they're running a business. They're busy too.
Right.
So, you know, it's cool. And they know, like, I'll have customers walk in the door and from my showroom to my production, to the bays, I've got a garage door that you can walk through, which is kind of cool. So you can see me working in there.
Right.
And so if I'm working in there, I hear the door open. I'm like, hey, I'm in the back. I'll be there in a second. They'll just walk through, which probably isn't OSHA approved or whatever, but you know, whatever. And I'm laying underneath the car and they're like, oh, I'm sorry. I called a little while ago. I was like, yeah, I saw you call, you know, and they're like, oh, okay. That's, you know, they know why I didn't answer the phone, you know, cause I'm under a car or I'm, you know,
it's not even
elbow deep in.
But you know what? It's probably not even that too, because you know just as well, as soon as you get on the phone, they got you on the hook. It could be a 5-minute conversation, could be a 2-minute conversation, but it also could be a half an hour conversation, which is taking you away from what you're doing. And that's really smart because an informal text message would probably go a lot faster and smoother where they don't have the vehicle to continue the conversation because they might not want to keep on texting. It could just be that quick question. You give an answer. Right. That's the end of it. Done.
Right.
They got what they wanted.
And then also you've got that for later. So you can go back to your text messages. Oh, what did they want? Oh, they got a new sprinter van. They need it wrapped. Perfect. So you know what you're getting into before you just call them up and say, hey, what do you need?
Right.
Like, hey, I got the message about your sprinter van. You need to get something going? Sure, perfect. Let's do it. You know, so you've already got that
introduction.
You know,
yeah. Instead of getting into diving into the whole conversation. Well, it's at the dealership still, and it needs to get the racks put in, and the interior needs to be built. No. You don't have to tell me that. You're wasting my time at that point. You need a wrap?
Yeah.
Call me when it's ready at the dealer. Have the dealer drop it off. You know, done.
Yep.
Good to go.
Done.
I love it.
Yep.
I love it. That's awesome. Chris, dude, absolute pleasure talking to you, brother. This has been such a great time. I've had a great time talking to you. Is there anything that I may have missed that you may want to touch on, conversational wise?
No, man. I think we've hit quite a good amount. And the only thing I know that earlier you said that you wanted to talk about the pain is dead stuff, but that can be for another day or for something else, which is cool.
Oh yeah, we can definitely touch on that on a follow up. I know you're pressed for time as well, so we can definitely do a follow up on maybe after you do the Gold Rush stuff.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Hell yeah.
See how that went.
Charlotte's been blowing me up with my text message. Are you still on the podcast? Are you still at the shop? Are you still there? But we have cameras in the shop, and she loves to check on me. So I know she's watching me here anyway. So she can pull it up on her phone. It's kind of creepy, but
just give her the smile and the wave. Hi, honey.
Smile and wave. Hey, babe. Love you. Be home soon.
I'll be home soon. Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome.
So cool. Well, thank you for the opportunity, man. I really appreciate it. And,
thank
you. If you
you.
ever need anything, just give me a shout. I'll be around anytime you want to. If you anything you need help with, man, I'm around.
I appreciate that. Let everybody know where they can hit you up on social media or a website.
Yeah, social media is, Facebook is Wrapabull, WRAPABULL. Same thing for Instagram, and we have a website. It's pretty cool. It just pulls from Facebook and Instagram, so it just populates that way. It's Wrapabull.com. So. That's it. Check it out. We do some cool stuff.
Awesome.
I do some cool stuff here. Dig it.
Chris, thank you so much. I wish you well for 2018, brother.
Yeah, man. Take it easy. Have a good evening, man.
Thank you to everyone for tuning into the podcast, and thank you to our sponsors. Thank you to the 3rd annual Wraps VIP event in Long Beach, California on August 3rd. Make sure to head over to their website at www.rapsvipevent.com for more information. And thank you to all our listeners. If you like our content, share it. Give us a rate and review. Till next time, folks, that's a wrap.